Was good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in the building with another banger, man. So, as you can see by the looks of the title and the screen today, I got a very special build in store for y'all. Going to be called the two-way mid-range specialist. Also, going to be able to get contact dunks, speed boost, as well as hit that center position. So, before we get any further into this, man, I just want to go ahead and say thank you, God, for giving me this opportunity. Merry Christmas Eve to all of y'all. I hope y'all are having a great holiday week. But, man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Anybody looking to join the Rich Gang family, I would appreciate it if y'all went ahead and turn on post notifications as well as hit that like button. Now, let's go ahead and get into the making of this build. If you were paying attention, the very first thing that you are going to want to go ahead and do is put this build under the center position. Now, I'm telling you, things are only going to continue to get even better when it comes down to this build. So the height I'm going to hit y'all with is going to be 6'9". When it comes down to the weight, I decided to go with 215. And then when it comes down to the wingspan, please be sure to keep it as is at 7'5". This is going to be perfect, especially to allow us to get the contact dunks that we want. Everything else that goes into this build as well is going to be really solid. So for me, I would say that leaving the build how I made it when it comes down to the height, weight, and wingspan is going to be the best way that you can go about it when it comes down to this build out of the center position. But now, let's just go ahead and get into the breakdown of what this build is going to be looking like when it comes down to the attributes, the badges, and all of that good stuff. So today, we're going to go ahead and actually start with the finishing side of things. I'm going to go with the close shot of 81. Driving layup is going to be an 80. Driving dunk must be an 84 at least to get the contact dunks. Standing dunk going to be an 84 as well. And then the post control is going to go up to an 85 for 29 finishing badges, y'all. And also, as you can see, you do get a good amount of extra badges when it comes down to what this build is going to be looking like, especially with the Hall of Fame badges that we're actually going to be able to unlock as well. So when it comes down to the shooting, I'm going to go ahead and put that mid-range shot to an 84. When it comes down to the three-pointer, I'm going to hit y'all with a 76. And then when it comes down to the free throw, I'm going to go ahead and put this to a 75. And we're going to be able to get 22 shooting badges, and all of this that makes this build is going to be very solid. I'm telling you, even the badges really work together well with this kind of build being at the center position. But now we're going to go ahead and get into the breakdown of the playmaking on this build. So, for me, I would really have to say that when it comes down to that pass accuracy, I'm going to go with the 75. When it comes down to the ball handle, I'm hitting y'all with a 76. And then, when it comes down to the speed with the ball, I'm going to max this out. And as you can see, we're going to be able to get 19 badges, and it's really good because on this build you're actually going to be able to get all of the playmaking badges that are going to work really well together with this build. Remember also, you can change anything up based on your own preference. If you do go about it a different way other than what I show y'all, you do risk changing up the build name again, just to warn y'all. But now let's go ahead and get into the defensive end. We're going to upgrade our interior defense and our perimeter defense maxed out. Steal going to be a 66. Block going to go up to an 88. Then on the offensive rebound, I'm going to bring this up to a 62. Defensive going to be an 87. And right there, you're going to be able to get 27 defensive badges. And now when it comes down to the physicals, we're going to max out the speed at a 75, acceleration at a 72, put a 60 strength, 70 vertical, and a 90 stamina. And as you can see, we get 27 defensive badges on this build. I'm telling you, the build will only continue to get better as we go along, especially once we check out the takeovers that we're going to be able to unlock, but also when it comes down to the boost as well. And even with the defensive badges that we did get for this build, really solid all around. You're really going to be able to do everything that you normally would out of a center build, but I would have to say this one is going to be one of the more and most versatile center and big man builds that I have brought to y'all this year. And honestly, I can say I like it even more because of the takeover is going to allow us to speed boost once you get it activated. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show y'all what I'm talking about in a quick moment, but this is pretty much what the build is going to be looking like once you max it out. Now, I'm telling you, even with the physicals, you still maintain everything that this build is going to need. The speed is definitely there. When it comes down to the strength, that is going to be very solid. But then when it comes down to the vertical, this is even good. And then also, of course, you cannot forget about the stamina. Now let's go ahead and check out what this build is going to be looking like with the takeovers that we get. So, as you can see, we get the playmaking, also going to be able to get the lockdown, and then from there we're also getting the rim protecting, and finally we will be getting the post scoring takeover on this build. So you have a lot of different options to pick from, and also really you can go based off of your own preference as long as you feel comfortable with what you are picking when it comes down to this build, especially for the takeovers. So for me, I would have to say that honestly, if you want a speed boost, go ahead and first pick the playmaking takeover, but you can never go wrong with picking one of the defensive takeovers. Either or, whether it be the rim protecting or the lockdown, both of these are going to be a really solid decision. For me, I would have to say paint intimidation is going to be the one that I would go with first. Secondly, if you want to, you can definitely throw in a post scoring takeover. But for me, like I said, I want to be able to speed boost with this build, get a plus 10 to our playmaking. So I'm going to pick up playmaking takeover. And as y'all can see, we have made the two-way mid-range specialist with over 100 badges. Remember, you get a plus 7, plus 4 from the rebirth as well, a plus 3 from the 3 seasons that we have completed this year. But now, what we're going to go ahead and do is just take a quick look at what this build is going to be looking like once we grind it all the way out to 99, and also take into consideration adding boosts to this build. So essentially, you're going to be getting a plus 8, plus 4 from bind boost for the finishing, shooting, playmaking, and defense. But also, if you run with teammates, they're going to have Hall of Fame, floor general, and defensive leader. That means that's another plus 4. So, plus 8 to all of your main stats, and then with the takeovers we get a plus 10 to our playmaking as well as a plus 10 to our defensive end. So essentially in takeover you're going to be able to get a 99 interior defense, perimeter defense, block, as well as a defensive rebound. And in takeover as well, you're also going to be able to speed boost with this build. So really, that is something you do need to take into consideration. You get a plus 18 to the playmaking and defensive end of this build, but if you did pick the post scoring, you get a plus 10 to your finishing, y'all. So there are actually going to be a few different ways at what this build is going to be looking like. More so importantly, depending on the takeover that you decided to go with. Now, let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of these badges. So, I'm going to go ahead and start off with the finishing. We're going with Silver Posterizer, Gold Unstrippable, Gold Slithery Finisher, and Hall of Fame Back Down Punisher. From there, I'm adding in Silver Fearless Finisher, Gold Limitless Takeoff, and then for the very last 3 badges, if you want to spread the wealth, you definitely can do that, or you can go ahead and put on one single badge. That can be Acrobat or anything else of your preference. Now, when it comes down to the shooting, there are a lot of different things that you're going to be able to work with here as well. Just remember to always look to add the badges that are going to boost your shooting percentages. For me, I'm going with Blinders, Corner Specialist, Catch and Shoot, Deadeye, Green Machine, Hot Zone Hunter, and Hall of Fame Sniper. And that is going to be the perfect setup for me when it comes down to the shooting. Now let's go ahead and get into the playmaking. We still got a good amount of badges that we're going to be able to work with here. So for me, I'm going with Silver Handles for Days, Quick First Step, as well as Triple Threat Juke so far. And then when it comes down to these next ones, I'm going with Space Creator on Silver, Tight Handles, Unpluckable, and then we get one more left over. I'm going to go with Bullet Passer, but if you wanted to, you can drop down your Space Creator, and then from here, even upgrade your Bullet Passer badge up to the highest tier, and that is how I would go about it. And then finally, you can even go ahead and put on Bronze Bailout. But now, let's just go ahead and get into the breakdown of the defensive end. So for me, I'm going with Intimidator on gold, starting off, and then also I'm gonna go with silver rebound chaser, Hall of Fame chasing artist as well as hustler, and then you cannot forget about clamps, interceptor, and then finally rim protector on gold. And this is a setup that I would be running if I were to make this build. We're gonna end it off with 27 defensive badges, 19 playmaking, 22 shooting, and 29 finishing with the contact dunks, y'all. Again, I just need y'all to know that I appreciate y'all, I love y'all, and I thank y'all. Thank God for giving me this opportunity. I hope y'all are having a great Christmas Eve. Shout out to y'all. And man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Anybody looking to join the Rich Gang family, RGF, be sure to go ahead and turn on post notifications as well as hit that like button. I would appreciate it if we can get at least 50 likes on this video. Be sure to go ahead and share it with your family and friends. And last but not least, man, with all that being said, I got one last thing to say. Thank y'all, thank God, and man, Rich out.